Good morning. Today is the 18th of December 2024 and I'm going to go over today's trade plan and levels. Before we start, let's just recap the news which could change and move the market. We had a little bit 8:30 news come in. We saw a negative reaction to that. That's been selling off since. We've also got a big one coming up. Obviously got oil 10:30, so if you're looking at crude oil, if you're in a crude oil trade, just be wary. But we've got the FOMC interest rate decision today, and then the Fed press conference. So 2 p.m. and 2:30 is going to be usually it's a big move in time, and just be a bit wary if you're in trades at that time. They're the times when you want to be very aware of what's going on. If I remember the last time we had FOMC, it might have been FOMC minutes, but it wasn't much of a move in the market. So, but we need the FOMC, a big move in day like today potentially, because we want to be able to break out of what we're holding. We've been in this chop zone now for a couple of weeks, and we just want to either break out and continue to trend up, or just lose that area and change the trend down. So be a bit wary. 2 p.m. I don't trade FOMC, but I do watch it. I enjoy the show, like to see what the market does, and I listen to a few live YouTube channels as well, just to see what everyone else is doing. Good morning, Charles. Hope you're well, and hopefully you're looking forward to today's trading. So let's crack on. Which one in the hourly time? So I cleared most of my drawings now, so I kind of rebuilt drawings from scratch, all the levels as well, because they were a little bit out where we had the rollover yesterday, or the day before yesterday. The contract switched from the December contracts to the March contracts, so some of the levels, I think the levels are okay, but some of the drawings were a bit out. But it's always a good time. I use that as a good time to clean things up, and it's nice starting from a nice new canvas effectively. I've added one thing to it. It's just on this daily level. We've got this trend line. You can see we're linked the two pivots there. We've linked the three pivots here. Just to give an idea of how the market. In fact, when I did that, it was just a clone. This level here, basically a clone of that level, and I just moved it up, and it just fit in perfectly. So it gives a general idea of the range we're trading in this up zone. Yeah, potentially we could be seeing something like that. Looking at day, while we're on the daily, let's just quickly recap it quickly. So we've got, just my pen. So we're putting in this bit of a bull flag, this pattern, and we've been held up by that previous pivot, and that's always been an area on watch. We've had that on watch for some time. It's kind of holding that level, and we've got this volume spike as well, this volume shelf as well in that area, and that could be acting as a little bit of support as well. But obviously we've got this pivot, and we've been holding this level of confidence for some time now. So what we're looking for is one or two things. We're either going to break out, continue the trend up, we're starting to narrowing now, or we're going to break down and then change trend. You can see we've caught up with the 20 moving average now on the daily. This is this blue line. We've been extended from it for some time, and as you can see, the market always likes to pull back to the 20 moving average, and eventually it likes to pull back to the 200. So today is going to be, or this week is going to be one of those days. Are we going to break down below that area, lose the 20 moving average, and then our next target is this area here, or are we going to continue the trend up? Volume wise, something to note, we've had low volume on the green days on this push up, and look at the high volume on the red days. So that is a sign of weakness. And the candles for the red, for the down days, let's just compare the size of them. So we had if you look at previous candles, I would say about an average size candle with increased volume over that green candle the day before. And then that's the same size candle. I take the wicks into account as well. Maybe a little bit smaller than the previous day, but that was on much higher volume. And then we had the previous day, still higher than the previous day volume. We had a big candle that day. You know, that's maybe a third bigger than it's definitely half bigger than the previous day, and it's on less volume than the previous day. And then obviously, so basically the trend we're seeing is we're seeing bigger red days, big candles, and smaller green day candles. You know, this could be a sign of weakness. Look at the RSI as well. We've been hovering up in this 80%, 75% area. Every time we get up there, we see a sell-off. We got back up there again. We've seen a sell-off, and then we're back up there again, and we had a little bit of a sell-off, not much, which is why you can't predict whether we're going to be breaking out or breaking down, because you know that's a smaller sell-off, and maybe the sellers who were there are gone, and we're just looking to continue the trend up. So we won't make a move until we see the market make a move. And although I am quite tempted to try and find a swing short on maybe QQQs or on SPY right now, and just maybe get one or 2 months out contract and just buy a couple of puts, just you know, because eventually we will come back and retest that 50. So that's something I'm considering. I may look at it a bit later. Let's just go into the hourly chart. You can see this flag pattern more clearly. Big area of confluence. We've got pivots over here. It's a zone, so it's not really a line, it's a zone we're looking at. Pivots over here, so tops of pivots, bottoms of pivots. I've drawn the zone in here as well, just for clarity. So you can see we've got this area of interest, and so I do quite like the bounce. If we get down to 61.50 in that area, yesterday's low area as well. Is that right? Yesterday's low? Yeah, that's yesterday's low as well. So if we get down here, then I'm watching for a bounce. We really want to see some big moves down there. Just like a marathon runner, by the time it gets down there, it'll be so exhausted, it will probably want to bounce a little bit. And then if we are going to break down, then that leads me to my next play. And I'm looking for a break and then a retest of this level here, 61.15 for the short. So that's my 2 plays for this zone. You can see volume wise, we've got volume just above. We've broken through the most amount of volume now. See where the volume's been holding off there, and in the pre-market we've just gone straight through it. But I know it's pre-market volume, so it doesn't count as much. One thing I do want to point out, actually, when I talked about low volume green day here, one thing I didn't take into account was the contract rolled over, so maybe we can ignore that last green day on the daily, because obviously some people will be trading the December contracts, some people will be trading the March contracts. So when we get, let's have a look at SPX, see how that compares on the daily. Okay, so a little bit different. So we're still getting slightly bigger red days and green days. A couple of lower red days. We had a big green day on a small top and tail candle. You know, that's maybe a sign of weakness, because there's 50% of that was sellers, and we had, despite it's a green candle, but it is high volume, so we can assume that the sellers were in control of that bar, and it's why we're back down to where we are now, or yesterday. And yesterday was a bottom tail candle bar, so at one point there were sellers here, and buyers, I meant, pushing that candle back up. So even though it's a red day, we could be that there's 50% there was buyers. That's why we use order flow, because we can actually see where the buyers and sellers were within those candles. Let's go back to ES, pick up some levels. So we've got our bounce area and our break and retest level today. Pre-market low. We can watch for the break and retest, wherever that may be when the market opens. With this big break of trend, this is our hourly trend, we've broken the trend, and then we can probably say that the trend is on our side right now in this downtrend. So let's watch for a break and retest of 61.26, or where that might be when the market opens. Let's watch for a break and retest over pre-market high, and then we've got our first target, and I'll get into that now to zoom out a bit. So you can see I've drawn this trend line in, all-time high from the 6, and I've just linked up all the previous pivots. So we could expect maybe the market to come into that area, which is 61.50 area, 61.56 area, for a rejection. And what I would expect to see something like that, if we are just trying to narrow it down. So let's just extend this trend line. Potentially, we're looking at something like that. And then eventually we're either going to break out over that, or we're going to lose that area totally. So that's what I expect it to do. But again, we can only play what we see setting up. And that's why I quite like the bounce down there. I like to think history does repeat itself. But there's only a certain amount of times you can knock on the door, knock, 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 and then suddenly the door opens and we break through. So the first move into these areas, this area of confluence, it's always the most powerful move, which we can see from that. Second move, next powerful. Third move, not quite as powerful. Fourth move, maybe not quite as powerful. Fifth move, it can't sustain it. That's how I see it. That's how I like to read the market, a bit like that. Do we have a level if we get over this trend line? We do. We can keep an eye on 61.57, 51.60. That pivot there, which will be around about this trend line area for a break and retest long into this region. And then this will be a profit taking area right where the point of control is, so we know that's where there's plenty of volume. So allow this area for potential profit taking, and if we see strength in the market and pushes through, we can look for the break and retest. So really simple, really. Watching a bounce down here, looking for a rejection in this area here. In fact, this is a big rejection area. Takes in this area here into account. So we can potentially look for rejections here, and me personally, I don't reject all-time highs, but I like these pivots because they're kind of at levels we've been establishing previously. Areas of confluence, but there's no areas of confluence of it's just an all-time high, and notice the lack of volume. So I don't really want to take profit. I'd reject up there, but I will look for a break and retest if we get up there. And I think that's it. Really simple plays today. If we do lose this level, notice also this lack of volume in that area. There's a little tiny volume spike. So potentially we've got movement all the way down to this region here, which is a region of confluence. And that is down at 6100. So here we go, 6100 is a key number, psychological number. And if we do lose that area, look for a break and retest short into that area. Okay, that's it really for ES. I'm going to quickly flick over to order flow. You can see big red high volatility days for 2 o'clock. Make sure I'm on my right screen. We've got anything different coming up? 10 o'clock, consumer confidence and oil. So what I'm looking at here is we've got the price going sideways till 8:30 sideways, and then we had a bit of a sell-off, then 8:30 came and then we lost it, and we lost it there. So there's nothing unusual to see. Whatever that news was at 8:30 didn't go down too well. And here's something of interest. Look at this, all these aligned points of control, all that area. I know it's not perfectly aligned. I'd like to see 2 in a row, but it's a rough area. So potentially 61, 46 to 44 could be a rejection area. If you come back up to that area, you'd be looking for a scalp. And I think that's it really on order flows. Nothing really to see, just with selling off. I made a change to the 5-minute order flow, make it a lot more easier to read now. Instead of having 1 tick per level, I've now got 2 ticks per level, so just makes it a bit easier. So in each one of these levels, it's got 2 ticks. There's 2 in there, and so forth, which means it's a bit more readable on the 5-minute chart. Me, I prefer the 10 range and the 8 range. I have the 8 range and a 5-minute volume profile. I'll show you what my main chart looks like. This is one I watch on my main screen. You can see I've got 8 range and I've got volume profile being displayed every 5 minutes. Just shows me, lets me know where there's volume. There's not much at the moment. That's the one I prefer to watch. But I do keep an eye on the ones that you're looking at now as well. Okay, so not much on order flow. Let's go down to SPY, pretty much similar levels. So we're looking, these all got the old levels from before one. So we're watching for a bounce down at 602.89, and we're looking for a rejection in this region here, 607.77 to 608.33. Obviously got the all-time high area, and we've got 610 as well as a psychological number. And that's it. And if we do lose this area, we've got this bounce area of big pivot there, big area of confidence there, and marked up 599, 600 is a nice round number as well, so 600 for the bounce. SPX, we briefly looked at it earlier on the daily. Again, holding this level. If we lose that, our next level to watch would be that zone there, and that is at 616, 615 area for the bounce, or longs if you're on ES. And then we've got this zone up here to watch for rejections at 60.85. Keep an eye on yesterday's low potentially for breaking retest long, pre-market high area, or the rejection. NQ, so I've cleared this chart as well, just kept some trend lines in just so we can see where we are. I'm only more recently interested in the most recent pivots. So these are the two most recent pivots as well here. That's how I draw my trend lines in. And look at that, how do you just link this up? I didn't have this in place at the time, but yesterday or day before it came straight into that trend line, so it's definitely been honoured, these trend lines, so keep an eye, it's worth keeping an eye on. Also note how we ran up the 50 moving average, held it, now we've just lost it, and now we're below all the moving averages, below the VWAP. So we're looking potentially like we've changed the hourly trend here. So we need to get below that pivot there to confirm, and if we do confirm that, we'll be breaking maybe this daily trend. Levels, I said yesterday keep an eye on that area for a bounce, and look what happened, came right into that area and bounced. So we can keep an eye on, in fact maybe that was pre-market, maybe, oh no, post-market yesterday. So yesterday's low, so keep an eye on yesterday's low down to this pivot from Friday last week for a bounce. Breaking retest of pre-market low and highs on as well, especially the high, because we are still in an uptrend despite seeing a few red candles now. If we break above and come back below, we could then put in another uptrend and a nice healthy move up. RSI was looking very overbought yesterday, but right now smack bang in the middle, so you know, any directions could be a good direction today. And then the bounce and then the rejection is this 22,400 area. QQQ. Okay, same QQQ. We got this area here for the bounce. Let's mark it up. We did have that area yesterday as well, after market. So make it a bit more accurate. Oh no, I got the magnet turned on. I was like, why is it not sticking? Okay, I know now. Okay, so that's a great, look at that. Pivot there, came back, touched it, bounced. Keep an eye on that one. Breaking retest of pre-market high. It's a higher probability into new all-time highs, only because we're still in an uptrend. And then if we lose that area, we can watch for the break and retest of yesterday's low. And then our next area, we do have a volume shelf here, and that could be our next area and watch 530. So let's just mark that up as well. That's our bounce area. Oil, remember there's oil news at 10:30 today, so if you're in a trade, be wary. Potentially we're looking at this left shoulder head. Are we going to set up a right shoulder for the breakout? You could also say we had one here, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and then let's draw in the line. I like these ones here, and look at the retest. We broke out, came back, retest. So the entry could have been that candle there, and let's just work out what that would have been, risk to reward. Okay, so that would have been a nice 3-hour move yesterday, or when was that? Oil. Okay, so 8 AM Friday last week, so that would have been a nice 3-hour move, and that's why I like these plays. They give you good risk to reward. And again, if we see something like here set up, just want to see something like that set up, then we want to see it break out, come back down to 70.50, find the entry and push up. Big volume as well, volume spike compared to previous days. Might mean ending volume, so it's coming down. In this area of confidence as well, so we can watch for the bounce pretty much at pre-market low, and if we lose pre-market low, to look for the break and retest short. Again, break and retest over pre-market high, 70.50, and then let's keep an eye on this area here for the bounce. Would have played out pretty well yesterday. 60.81 was the low. So 60, I had 60.95, so I wasn't far off, and that would have been a good bounce. And if you're on the 5 minute, you could have easily found a bounce in that area. Gold, glorious gold. Again, we were on this downtrend. We've broken the trend line. Are we looking at this lopsided head and shoulders pattern? And then that's our neckline there. If we are, keep an eye on the break and retest the pre-market low. That's probably the only pattern I can see. We watch for a bounce down here at 26.45, 26.40. Obviously we've got this 26.60 area. And also note, if we do get above this pre-market high and we come back and retest, notice we've got the point of control and all the volume in this area. You can see you don't really need this volume chart to see where the volume is. It's obvious really, because it's obviously the areas of confluence. But it's good to have it there, and it gives you a level we can watch as well. So watch that area for a break and retest, or it may just reject again. RTY, still, as far as I'm aware, in this downtrend. But are we starting to come out of it? So we've got these trend lines, this fan's getting steeper, kind of looking like we could be curving over. The reason I say are we coming out of it is because we've now closed on the hourly above the 200 and above the 20. We need to come back and retest that area and put in a inverse head and shoulders pattern. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So that's why these patterns are pretty critical in my opinion for looking for reversals, because you're seeing it curve over, it's coming back, retesting previous areas, which is the neckline area, and breaking out. So just keep an eye on the break and retest of 23.85, 23.86 pre-market high, and if we continue this trend down, keep an eye on pre-market low, break and retest short. And we've got a few areas we can watch as potential targets. But if we do lose, in fact we're well away from that when you talk, we've got that volume void there, but which makes sense because then we've not had much volume in that area. Here we go, the volume's back. If we break out over pre-market high, there's a bit of a volume void as well to the left over here. And then our next area is where the point of control is, so we could see a nice push up into this point of control area. And then lastly, or almost lastly, Bitcoin after that, we've got the Dow Jones. And now this, we've been saying every day, this is an example of a downtrend. And look, we're still in that downtrend. Notice the increased volume. I'm ignoring that one because that's the rollover. And RSI right at the low. And when you do see increased volume, potentially it could show you that we're getting near to an end. So we haven't really confirmed a change of trend yet because we're still holding this trend line down, but we definitely have had a steeper move down on increased volume. So the only play I'm watching here is a bounce of yesterday's low, a break and retest of the pre-market low into yesterday's low, or the break and retest of pre-market high out of that. And our first target will be this first volume shelf, which we just pivot here, these pivots here. So our first target will be 44,300 to 44.40, that area there. And that's it really, that's the only plays. I'll come back to that. And then Bitcoin, putting in new all-time highs, what's that, 108,000, and then we're coming back down to this 104,000 area. And there you go, it's a pattern I like looking for as well. Left shoulder, or you could say that's the left shoulder, and the head, and the right shoulder. Depends how you see it. Is that the neckline, the break and retest back down? Or you could just be going sideways for a bit, waiting for catch up. As you can see, we are quite extended on the daily. Again, if you look at the daily, it paints a different picture. There's no head and shoulders pattern. There's no weakness at all. You could say top and tail candle, but on reduced volume, maybe a little bit of weakness at the top there. Yeah, we're still hugging the 8. We need to come back to the 20 moving average. That's a healthy move back, and then a healthier move back will be back down to here, which we've not touched since beginning of October. So in my opinion, there's nothing here to play right yet. You could be looking for a breakout if you're looking for a break and retest of that area there. What's that? Was that when I think that might be the elections day. So look for a break and retest. Potentially we're at that point now. But me, it's far too extended to be going long. I'm only looking to, I've sold what I've got. I'm only looking to add when we get back down again. And that's it. Quickly look at ES before the market opens in 2 minutes time. See if anything's changed. Just go down to the 15 minute. No, we're right in limbo, right in no man's land here really. There's no real plays. Pre-market low. If we can break down below pre-market low, potentially into that area, but there's nothing on until we get at least to there or to here. And FOMC might be a funny day today as well. Okay, trade safe, honour your risk management, and have a good day. Thank you for watching. And again, if this is of value to you, don't forget to hit the like button. And I will be on the main stream, which is the order flow stream, as soon as I close this. Okay, thank you for watching.